I would like to remind you of the young people that you gave an opportunity to attend the convention and participate in acts. So Alicia Hildred, Thais Ray, Cremisha LaCrosse, Kia Hornbeek, Tiffany Jones, Cameron Myers, Artisha Harris, Elgina Sadberry, Steve Brown, Joshua Glisson, Ahmad. You gave Ryan Terrell an opportunity to participate, and I'm not missing any of them, and I'm not going to miss any of them because you will hear from these young people today. I was thinking about what I could tell you about the convention. Oh, I could tell you about the thousands of people that were there, some 20,000 among 5,000 youth. I could tell you that, but I could also tell you about Shakisha Langston. Yes, I could tell you about Wade Watkins, Brandon Bryant, Ryan Terrell, Deneen Watkins, and others. But this morning I'm going to let the youth speak for themselves. And after they have spoken, I will have you, the public, to comment. You invested in these young people. Cameron Myers, your investment. Yes, you invested. And now you can sit back and, as Calvin so ably say, relax and listen to the young people as they report to you how they have reacted to the convention. And I would like to say to the parents, thank you, because you gave us some of the most dignified young people that this convention has ever seen. And we would certainly like to thank you. It was the 87th annual NAACP convention that was held in that great city of Charlotte, North Carolina. A beautiful city, a clean city, a city with a new convention center that I could not even describe to you. But I can tell you it represents the 21st, the best for the 21st century. I could tell you so many things, but today I'm going to let the young people speak that went to the convention and represented you. You know, as I looked at these young people and as I thought about the churches, St. John's Baptist Church, Fairview Baptist Church, Fifth Street Baptist Church, the Church of Christ on 36 and Prospect. When I thought about the First AME Church, yes, and when I thought about the people that came up and bought catfish dinners, when I looked at these young people, I saw a bit of you because you were there. You were there with your investment. When I think about companies that said, I'm going to help these young people, yes, I know you were there. Joe Esco, KFOR. Oh, yes, you were there. You were helping these young people. Because those young people, like many of us, could not have gone. It's quite an expensive thing to go to the convention, to participate. I saw you there because you were there. You were there with your pennies and your nickels and your dollars. You were there with your encouragement. And this morning, you will have an opportunity to look at your investment. Yes, you were there, Nancy Davis. You were there, Lady Ruth Hunter. You were there, Freddie Stevens. You were there, Robert Gates. You were there because you were there in the hearts and the minds and the gratitude of these young people. Hundreds of you, and I wish I could call all your names, but I cannot. But I just want you to know how much these young people appreciate it because they know without you, they would not have been there. You were there through the senior branch that made a $300 contribution to the youth council. You were there. You were there through Homeland and others that contributed to these young people. And most of all, you parents that stayed at home, waved your young people goodbye. You were there because you were in the hearts and the minds of the young people. And I'm going to ask these young people to call me today. My telephone number is 672-1220, and I want you to tell me your reaction to the convention. Many of these young people had never had the opportunity to attend a convention before. If you could have seen their eyes, if you could have seen the dignity, if you could have seen them taking notes and learning and asking questions, you would have been very, very proud of these young people. The telephone number is 672-1220. And I am Clara Luper. Yes, Commissioner Cross, you were there. Yes, Carol Brown, you were there. How can I say too much for Marilyn Hildred? What can I say about the Wilma Ray? What can I say about Mrs. Gloria Matthews? There with supplies for her children, never forgetting. What can I say about Mrs. Mosey Walker? There, taking care of the finances for these young people. What can I say? Oh, what can I say about those adults that took off from their jobs and their opportunities? What can I say about Calvin Luper? Oh, I don't know. But I do know one thing. I do know you're going to hear from these young people today. And I want them to call me because so many times people say, Clara, I get so tired of you asking. But let me tell you something. Many of us, as Jim Brown put it last week, are in the fourth quarters of our life. And many of us are running over time, and the only thing that we will ever leave will be our children because we have done it. We have now Ryan Terrell, who was one of our delegates, one of our representatives. Ryan?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
I want you to tell the people your reaction to the 87th Annual Convention.
I I'll say this has been the best convention I've ever been on. It was exciting. I mean, I saw everyone I wanted to see. Seeing the speakers was moving. It was like an out of body experience.
Okay, what speakers really influence you most?
I would say the President Bill Clinton inspired me a lot, telling us what the country needed to do for us, the youth. And Reverend Jamal Bryant, he moved me a lot because he said he talked for the youth. And then Shelley Luper telling us that today was an Independence Day and that everybody needs to come together as one and work together and change.
Well, what do you think that you gathered from the convention that you could bring back to your hometown and make it a better hometown?
What could I bring back?
Yes.
I would bring back, that's a hard one. I would have to bring back
Yes.
happiness from the convention. I mean, everybody coming together. I had to bring that back. Everyone working together. Everybody, everyone loving each other, coming together, being one. I have to bring that back.
Okay, well, thank you so very kindly, and I would certainly like to salute Mrs. Alice Strain and others that made it possible for you to represent us. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
This is a Clara Luper radio show. You invested in these young people. Wade? Hello?
Good morning, Miss Luper.
Good morning. Tell me about the convention as you saw it. This is Wade Watkins speaking.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank all the people that contributed and gave us the opportunity to go to the convention. And also, what really inspired me was the AXO competitions. It was so exciting to see such a love and camaraderie between my African American brothers and sisters. There were so many intelligent
Yes.
black young men and women there. It was something that you don't see every day, and it really inspired me.
All right, I understand there were over 5,000 young people there that were participating in various categories of AXO. I understand that you went to a workshop, the Boys and Men. Were you at that workshop?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
It was a workshop that pertained to African American young men, which we discussed leadership, and the speakers told us that a man leads and a boy is led, which shows the difference between a man and a boy.
Well, what will you be? Will you be a boy or a man?
A man.
Well, thank you so very kindly. Thank you,
Thank you.
Wade. I'm talking to the young people that you sent to the 87th Annual Convention. Brandon? Hello, Brandon?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, this is Brandon Bryant, one of the delegates. Brandon, tell me about the convention as you saw it.
Okay. Well, when I went to the convention, it made me want to become a leader and not a follower. Because when I went to the workshops and plenary sessions to listen to the speakers, I learned something. I learned that black men have been put on an extinction list because they are steadily killing one another throughout their own communities. This statement affected me because now I want to start telling blacks in their communities that they need to start loving and praying for one another. Because as long as black gangsters and drug dealers don't have God in their lives, there's going to be problems. So young black men need to start standing on their own 2 feet and becoming role models for the younger generation by finishing school, going to church, staying out of gangs, and most importantly, staying off drugs. Because if black men can't start doing this, the younger generation of blacks will want to be like them because they see that they are trying to make something of themselves. And attending the convention also made me realize that young black people need to start visualizing and learning about our heritage so that we can know about the hardships that our ancestors went through to get us where we are today. And if we know this, it might cause a lot of the young black youngsters to think twice before killing one another, using drugs, or joining gangs. And so the convention made me want to start being a positive role model by being a leader and not a follower.
All right, now, but you're saying that now that you're back, you want to become a leader.
Yes.
All right, Brandon, you were at the convention. You were at the dinners. I saw you sitting there eating that $25 plate dinner, and you were doing a magnificent job on it. And this was your convention. Were you surprised at the large number of people that attend the NAACP convention?
Yes, I was very surprised because
You were surprised because of what?
it made me see how many of the black people really black people that black youngsters that wanted to make something of themselves by attending the convention and using that as a learning experience.
And you were saying you are a better individual because you attended the convention.
Yes.
Thank you so very kindly.
Okay, you're welcome. Oh, and Miss Luper?
Yes.
I want to thank everyone who supported the trip to the convention.
Okay, well, thank you so very much. And say hello to your grandmother. And who's your grandmother?
Bernice Sutton.
Well, be sure and thank her for me, okay?
Okay.
This is the Clara Luper radio show, and this show is being made possible today by your Allstate insurance agent, Merlin Hildred. If it's insurance you're looking for, I want you to call Merlin. That number is 8430, what, Calvin?
0811. That's Merlin Hildred's Allstate office. It's located at 730 West Britton Road. You know, Merlin has a new plan coming up, and that includes her being open on Saturday mornings. So not only will you have an opportunity to go out to the office and to get your free quote on any type of insurance, you will be able to go by on Saturday morning, and there you'll have an opportunity to see Merlin and April and Greta and those of us who want to make sure that all of your insurance needs are totally covered. Mom, it's so good to be here this morning, and it's so good to be back in Oklahoma City. Last week this time,
We were in
Charlotte, North Carolina. We
All
was on
right.
the telephone. We were waiting on a young man to go in and do his AXO presentation. We was waiting on a young lady to go in and do her AXO
Okay.
presentation. But, you know, these young people are calling, and they would have loved to have been here, but then it's a lot easier for
The
them to be on
studio
the phone.
couldn't have held all of us.
Yeah, right. But I want all of you out there to call that friend, call that neighbor, and invite them to be a part of today's show, because this is a very important show, because you will have an opportunity to hear what you have done. And I want all of you in Oklahoma City to take the time out and pat yourself on the back, because you've done something marvelous. You've done something that's fantastic. You've done something that's going to that you will see. You set some seeds down in the ground that one day will truly grow and help make our community a much better place. But Mom, we have a young lady on the line that I know you're just anxious to talk with because she was such a jewel to work with during the trip to Charlotte. And that's none other than L. Gina Sadbury, that dynamic Millwood band member. L.
LG,
Gina, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing fine,
Fantastic.
and Calvin is fantastic. Fantastic. We're talking about the convention, and I would like to get your impression of the convention. What about it? Tell me the story.
When we arrived in Charlotte, North Carolina, and saw so many people, black people coming together, doing more than just violence and everything, it was really touched me to show that everybody's working together. I attended so many workshops and learned so many things about my history and how I need to hold on to my roots. I attend dinners and workshops and plenary sessions, listen to Dr. Kunjufu speak.
What did he say?
Dr. Kunjufu gave us statistics and how to be popular or smart, and it's better to be smart than to be popular because popular is not always the right thing to do. He also stated that whatever we do most is what we do best. He also gave us some statistics about how 95% of black males in jail did not graduate from high school.
Wait a minute, tell me that over. 95% of the black males that are in prison today did not graduate from high school?
That is correct. And the same 95% of black males in jails did not go to church.
Just a minute now, Elgina. You mean to tell me 95% of the black males that are in prison today did not go to church?
Yes, ma'am. This was stated by Dr. Kunjufu.
Well, what does that mean? That means that if we can get them in church, we can kind of clear the prisons out, right?
That is correct.
Okay, continue to tell me.
And he also gave females an order of life to follow. First, you must get your diploma. Second, you must get your degree. Third, you must get your career. Fourth is your husband, and then you worry about the baby last.
Okay, so don't worry about the baby first and then think you're going to catch up, right?
That is correct.
Okay, now you participated in AXO along with 5,000 other young people. You didn't win, did you?
No, I did not.
Why?
Because I could have practiced better. I could have started earlier, and I could have been a little more professional.
Yeah, because in the first place, you had young people there out of performing arts schools, and where you've been taking music how many years?
1 year.
1 year, and I thought you did a terrific job, but the lady that played behind you had been taking music how many years?
9 years.
9 years, and it made a difference. It's such a pleasure to talk with you. Do you plan to go to another convention?
Yes, I do.
And where will the next convention be?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And you're planning to go?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to participate in AXO?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so very kindly.
Thank you.
This is the Clara Luper radio show, and we're talking to the young people that you sent. You bought the catfish dinner. I don't want to brag, but
Chicken dinners.
yes, the chicken and the pies. I don't want to brag, but the Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council is the only youth council in the United States that owns their own building, got a Black History monument, a Black History wall, and boy, we had more delegates than any other youth council in the United States, and we drove up there in that luxury bus thanks to Mr. William B. Mitchell, and then we had a big sign, Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council, and let the young people speak. Hello? Hello? You mean to tell me I don't have anyone? If you at first you don't succeed, try again. Calvin, I should have somebody.
Mom,
Hello?
you have someone on the line here, and I know they're anxious
Hello?
to talk with you.
Hello?
This is Kamisha Lacrosse.
Kamisha Lacrosse, how in the world are you?
I'm doing fine.
Okay, you attended the convention as a delegate. Tell me about it.
I was an alternate.
Oh, okay, you are an alternate. Okay.
I am Kamisha Lacrosse, and I attended the Charlotte, North Carolina convention. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to all the advisors, especially Shelley and Mrs. Luper, and all the advisors that put up with me. I attended the national convention, and I attended some workshops, and the workshop I went to was a children's workshop, and we had African dancers, and they taught us some dances, and I loved the convention, and I got to see Bill Clinton in person at the National Convention, and I want to say that he really inspired me, and I would like to go next year.
Oh, you would like to go next year?
Yes, I would.
Okay, you haven't gotten rested from this year, and you're thinking about next year.
Yes, I am.
Well, thank you so very kindly, Miss Cremishala Cross. This is okay. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and this show is being made possible by those of you out in radio land. And certainly we would like to thank you, and we would like to tell you about Passion Home Care. Located at 3838 Northwest 36th Street, the telephone number is 943-5779. Passion Home Care, where you can get that special care, where someone will come into your home and take care of all of your medical business. You don't have to worry. Mrs. Deborah Jackson's say, don't worry. Call us, 943-5779. 943-5779. Passion Home Care, 3838 Northwest 36th Street, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. We have another one of our representatives on the telephone, Cameron Myers. How are you this morning?
Fine.
What did you like about, first, how old are you?
7.
You're 7 years old. Did you enjoy the convention?
Yes, I did.
What did you like best about the convention?
The speaker.
The speaker. Okay, who did you hear speak?
Reverend Jamal Bryant, Shirley Luper, and the president.
Okay, now, do you remember anything that Reverend Jamal Bryant said at the convention?
Yes, I do.
Tell me.
It was the man that had 7 sons, and he brought out 7 of them, and he said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. He said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. He said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. He said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. He said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. He said, this one, he said, no, that's not it. There's another one named David out in the yard picking up garbage. So the man went to go get him, and he said, is this one? He said, yes, that's it. And God put his hand over him, and oil started sucking down. And he said, and then he turned around and said, how you like me now?
All right, and you love that story.
Yes.
I know that would be good news for the people in Oklahoma because many of them have heard Jamal Bryant speak. Are you planning to go to another convention?
Yes, I will.
You will go to another convention?
Yes.
Would you like to thank the people that made it possible for you to go?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Cameron. We are talking to the people that went to the convention, and certainly I am all ready, Calvin, and how is it going? You know, I am looking forward to I want to hear from Kia Horn.
Mom, I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone that went to that convention. And some of the advisors may call in. But, you know, we're running a little short on time. And there were highlights of that convention that will forever stick with all of us. You know, we had a great time. And those of you in Oklahoma,
I want to hear from Marilyn. She was a sponsor of the AXO program.
Right.
Let's
Those are,
see.
but let me finish my little
Okay,
thought
sure.
here now. I mean, you know how fast I
Okay.
think. You know, I've been lost it. Trying to be here, a part of the Clara Luper radio show here this Saturday morning, early in the a.m. And I know that all of you out there listening have called that friend, called that neighbor, and invited them to be a part of it. Even Dean over there is calling this little partner saying, man, you make sure you listen to the show because something good is going to happen. And it's going to be good because you help make it happen. You that have that have been with us at the Freedom Center, you that have bought the catfish dinners, the chicken dinners, the pieces of cake, brought your cans by, your newspapers by. This is a great show because you will see the results of that show. So stay tuned. Make sure you've called that friend and called that neighbor and invited them to be a part of it. And Merlin, we're waiting to hear from you. And
Alicia, I want to hear from Alicia too, the president.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will go on with it. But, Mom, I know you have another advertisement there. You know,
Oh,
the young
yes.
man that helped make it possible for us to go,
Dr. L. Dow. Dr. Dow, the optometrist. Not only did he make it possible, but he made us possible to read all the information when we got there because we were wearing Dow's glasses. Dr. L. Dow. Located in the heart of Oklahoma City on Northeast to 8th Street. All you got to do, I want you to go to your telephone directory and look up Dr. A.L. Dow and say thanks to Dr. Dow, who has supported us not this year, but all of the years. You know, I really feel good because God has really blessed me. For 39 years, I've taken a busload of young people to a national convention. Nobody else in the United States can touch that record. You have made me number one because everybody loves Clara Luper. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I'm talking to the young people that went to the convention. I can tell you that it was a wonderful convention filled with young people. Can you imagine 5,000 young people? Can you imagine young people not with their pants slopping down, but with their pants up, looking good? Calvin, I am so excited, and I wanted to share today with the public here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Maryland.
Good morning.
Good morning, Marilyn. You are the sponsor of the you and Mrs. Wilma Ray did a wonderful job in the AXO. Tell me your reaction to the convention.
I am so very excited, and I just want to take this opportunity to say thanks to the people of Oklahoma City for making it possible to take these young people to Charlotte, North Carolina, where they were able to compete in the Academic Olympics of the Mind. 5,000 young people from across the United States, from every state in the Union were there. Not talking about trash, but talking about education, talking about science projects, talking about humanities, just doing their thing. Not only am I happy about that, but these young people had the opportunity to have the exposure, seeing people in the same age range competing. These are the people that they eventually will have to compete against in the job market, in the college market, all the rest of their lives.
Okay, Marilyn, I know you had a large number of participants this year, but you didn't win first, second, and third. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. No, I didn't win the first, second, or third prizes, but what I did win is the encouragement and the additional drive to give these young people to come back to the Sooner State and better prepare themselves to face tomorrow. Winning is, we're talking about winning the gold medals. I didn't win that, but what I did, I won within the hearts of these young people to come back and compete in their academic, scholastic high schools and prepare for next year.
I know those science projects were something that I shall never forget. Young people studying the cause of cancer, the cause of AIDS, and the young people dividing up cells and things that it's just unbelievable.
It is, definitely.
And we cannot say too much about our artist, Joshua Gleason, who went there with his picture, and he came out and he told me, he said, Miss Luper, I got to do more painting.
That's right.
Where I spend an hour or two, I have young people up here spending 8, 9, 10 hours.
Right, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Okay, Marilyn, I wanted to see if I could get Alicia Hildred.
Yes, if you could get Alicia, Alicia will be calling you right back. I have with me right now Deneen here.
Okay, Deneen, I would like...
yes, Deneen is right here, and she's all excited about Charlotte. Here she goes.
Deneen?
Good morning, Miss Luper.
Good morning. What did you think? This is Deneen Watkins. What did you think about the convention?
I was so inspired. I've never been to a national convention. This is my first year, and I've never seen so many young black men and women coming together like that.
Okay, what do you think? Has it made you a better person? That's what the public wants to know, because they have invested their money in you.
Yes, it made me a better person because I saw just because you may be down and out in a situation doesn't mean you can't make it. Or just because you have money doesn't mean you can't go to school and get your education.
Did you attend a trade and industry show where you saw all of those people that were professionals in their various occupations?
Yes, I did.
Well, thank you so very, very kindly.
Thank you, Miss Luper.
Okay, now this is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this show is being made possible by Exotic Florists, located on 36 and Lincoln. If it's flowers you need, you don't have to worry. Just see Exotic Florists. Certainly, I would like to thank Lady Ruth Hunter for the job that she did for me on last Saturday. Lady, you are just, I don't know what to say.
She's just a doll. We brought something back from the
something,
convention that
right.
she's really going to love. One of the AME, one of those AME
Yeah,
people
I heard one
there.
of our Bishop Battles speak.
Right.
He delivered a memorial service. And then I saw Lady Ruth's favorite organist.
Yeah,
Reverend William. We brought
some
our
very
papers.
special
Calvin, let
back.
me get these others because we have a
Well,
long
let's
ways
hear
to
it
go.
because we have something special
Okay.
that we have to share with this audience.
Okay. we are talking now to those young people that went to the convention, and if I don't get to talk to all of them today, it's always another day coming. And what I would like for you, the public, to do is to encourage these young people. Encourage them with with a pat on the back, just a push, just a help. And I'm going to show you what can happen when you do. Oh, I'm very happy today because you know what those young people did yesterday when they got off of that bus? They hugged me and they said thanks. Now, can you beat that? I don't know how you can beat it. I don't know whether you have ever had a hug from a young person that say thanks to you for something you have done. Well, I experienced that along with others. Kia.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Kia, how old are you?
10.
You're 10 years old. Was it your first convention?
No, it's not.
Okay. What did you like about the convention?
What I liked about the convention is the workshops, and for the children 12 and under, we did dances and songs and had fun.
Oh, you really had fun. I saw you sitting at that $25 plate dinner and you were looking good. Okay, did you get to meet many young people from across the country?
Not many.
Okay, but you got to meet a few, right?
Yes.
Potato salad king.
Huh?
Yes.
Well, you tell him he's a potato salad king. And we're going to call on him again. Now, seriously, you were so beautiful. And you were how old now?
10.
10. And you went to your first convention when you were 9 and you're looking forward to going next year, okay?
Okay.
And thank you so much for calling me.
Okay.
Yes, Mom. You know, we're very fortunate.
And
You know, Kia was an outstanding alternate and an observer. And it's just
Well,
so
we're gonna get to
encouraging to see these young people going to the convention, paying attention in the meetings, paying attention all the time that they're there. They're just so attentive. And then, plus, they had an opportunity to have a good time.
I want to hear from Thais.
Thais Ray, you know, she's on line 1. We'll
Okay.
have an opportunity to talk with her in just a minute. But then Thais's mother went too. You know, she's one of our
Wilma
dynamic
Ray.
and
Okay,
advisors.
well,
So
I
we're
want to
gonna
talk
hear
to
that.
Thais.
Well, you have an opportunity to talk with her right now.
Thais,
Hello.
what did you think about the convention?
The convention was very exciting. I enjoyed it the best when Jamal spoke about how the children need to be paid attention more by the adults. And I also enjoyed the president speaking. And as Miss NACP of Oklahoma, I met a lot of people, and I was glad to represent Oklahoma.
Well, I saw you when you walked down there in your African outfit. Mrs. Glory Matthews saw to it that you look good just like Thais should. But Thais, thank you so very kindly. And remember, meeting is Monday night, and it is going to be a big one.
Okay.
This is the Clara Luper radio show. And I know that you are very fortunate, and I would like to let you know these adults that gave up their time and went. I want you to know, and I wanted to hear from the president, but I haven't gotten there yet. I wanted to hear from Steve Brown, but if I don't hear from them next 3 minutes, I won't get to hear from them today because I got something very, very special for my radio audience. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by Passion Home Care. Oh, Passion Home Care will take care of you. Brought to you by Maryland Hildred with the Allstate Insurance Company. Yes, yes, yes. We are real excited.
Mom, I love being here in the studio. You know, it's so much more fun than it was being at that phone booth there at the Charlotte, North Carolina.
With thousands of people, everybody.
You know, that young man from Miami, Florida, he ended up being part of the youth council. I mean, the youth council that he represented, they walked away with top awards in dance. There was somebody better than him in vocal at the AXO competition. The young man that was a pianist for him. You know, those guys from Miami, Florida, the community came behind them.
The community came behind them, and they put that money behind.
We'll have
and
to
Houston
tell them a lot
did all
more.
right. We'll tell
Houston
them more.
did fantastic.
But I need
so
to
did the
hear
Fort
from
Worth
whoever's on the line. Okay, that's what I need to do. Hello? Hello? Well?
Hello, Miss Luper.
Yes.
It's Steve.
Okay, Steve, I don't want to report
Steve
about...
who?
Steve Brown.
I want to hear your reaction from the convention.
I was very impressed with the convention. I was surprised at all the talent that was there. It made me happy to see all the black youth doing something positive for a change.
Oh, great. You say for a change because you had not been in that kind of environment before, right?
No, ma'am.
You participated and you did exceptionally well. How did you feel being up there with all of those people that had had more experience than you?
It felt good. I felt a sense of importance, being able to do something positive for a change. It really felt good doing my oratory speech. I was nervous at first, but after I got started, everything was okay.
Everything was okay. I know you're very grateful for to your mother who went as one of the sponsors.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. And I'm rushing you this morning because I want to talk to all of my young people, and I do have something very, very special. We are talking about investing in young people. How do you do? What happens when you see your young people march in? And all of the Oklahoma City youth councils, you noticed yesterday when we got back to Oklahoma City, greeted by a large number of parents and friends, and they all had on these white T-shirts with Oklahoma City NAACP Youth Council. You were there. You were in Charlotte, North Carolina, because you had invested your money in these young people. And I want to ask you to continue to invest in them because you never know what you're doing. Now, this morning I have tried to give you a taste of some of the young people. And if these young people are in your church or in your surroundings, I want you to be sure and give them a clap on the back. We didn't have no discipline problem. They talking about kids can't be controlled. We didn't have that kind of problem.
Well, it wasn't that kind of environment, Mom. But then we have to really pat our AXO participants on the back because they did exceptionally well. And the advisors, I think we advisors need about 17 pats on the back because we made sure everyone was at the right place at the right time. And I just personally want to thank Mrs. Ford, Mrs. Matthews, Mrs. Bosie May Walker, Mrs. Ray, Carol Brown, Merlin, for their cooperation and their assistance. And then we had, the bus company was good too, but they weren't. Our advisors have to be the top in the nation.
Let's talk about Mrs. Gloria Matthews, one of the owners of Johnson Shardina's Daycare Center.
One of the owners?
Yes. She and her husband, Paul, own the Johnson Shardina's Daycare Center. If you're looking for a place where your children become truly educated, I invite you to go to Johnson Shardina's Daycare Center. Miss Matthews will take care of you.
Well, here's one of Mrs. Matthews' favorite persons that's on the phone and ready to talk with. I'm not going to tell you. Hello, okay. How are you doing this very beautiful morning?
Fine.
What's happening, young lady?
I'm fine. How you doing?
And who is this?
Artista Harris.
Yes, Artista. Tell me about the convention.
Well, I attended the NAACP convention this past week, and it was a very interesting and exciting experience for me because I learned different things and I met different people from different places.
Okay, are you planning to go to another convention?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the thrill of my life. You invested in Shelley Luper. You sent her to conventions. You taught her in Sunday school. You taught her in elementary and high school. But on Tuesday night, she was selected as a young lady to deliver the challenging address in front of more than 7,000 people. And I want you to hear her. This is Shelley Luper, your investment. You will hear her voice after the introduction.
It's my distinct honor tonight to introduce the person who's going to render our youth challenge. This is a portion of the program that every year the people in the pews get excited about, and I know because every year I've been down there. And this is a portion that I always look forward to hearing. This year, a friend of mine, Miss Shelley Luper, has been given the task to extend our youth challenge for tonight. Now, those of you who don't know Shelley, let me familiarize you with her. She is a youth member, well, she's a member, of the National Board of Directors of NAACP, but that's significant because she holds one of the at-large seats on the National Board, making her the first youth ever to hold an at-large seat on the National Board of Directors. That's significant, isn't it? Now watch that relationship I was telling you about. She went to school at Langston University, and because somebody encouraged Shelley, while she was at Langston, she became the first runner-up in the Miss Black Collegiate USA pageant. Did I get that right? That's because somebody encouraged her. She left that pageant and she went on to work at a black-owned corporation, Proline Hair Care Products, and she is the director of, well, she works in the advertising and PR department. That's a significant list of accomplishments from a lady so young. Let's give her a round of applause.
We stand here tonight following a long holiday weekend of picnics, barbecues, and celebrations of our country's independence. We rejoiced in our 220-year freedom from English rule. We rejoice in the belief that we live in the greatest country in the world. We celebrate Independence Day. In the midst of the celebration, no doubt some of you saw the blockbuster hit of the summer, what has been highly anticipated for many months. The movie starring Will Smith that features some aliens who descend upon Earth wreaking havoc with terror and a mission for the total destruction of the planet. Needless to say, their mission was stopped and all lived happily ever after, the movie aptly titled Independence Day. You see, these things came to my mind as I pondered over what challenge I could bring to you this evening. You see, Youth and College Division, today is our Independence Day. In declaring our independence, we must take a minute to remember upon whose shoulders we stand. We must reclaim the spirits of Medgar Evers, W.E.B. Du Bois, and Mary White Ovington. We must reclaim the spirits of Kelly Alexander Sr., Juanita Mitchell. We must reclaim the spirit of Rosa Parks, Benjamin Hooks, the spirit of Juanita Craft, and other longtime youth advisors such as Vera Piggy and my mother, Clara Luper. You see, we must reclaim the spirit and catch on to the spirit of our chairman of the board of directors, Merle Evers Williams, and our president and CEO, Kwesi Mfumi. You see, all of these people are great runners who are encouraging us to continue on and strive to be more. They want us to go places they've never seen and do things they've never dreamed of doing. You see, when we reclaim that spirit, I can hear them saying to us, I've come this far to freedom and I won't turn back. I'm climbing on the highway from my old dirt track. I'm coming and I'm going and I'm stretching and I'm growing and I reap what I've been sowing or my skin's not black. I've prayed and slaved and waited, and yes, I've sung my song. You've bled me and you've starved me, but I've still grown strong. You've lashed me and you've treated me and done everything but free me, but in time you'll know you'll need me and it won't be long. I've seen the daylight breaking high above my bow. I found my destination, and yes, I've made my vow. So whether you abhor me, you deride me, or ignore me, mighty mountains loom before me, and I can't stop now. Good evening. To our presiding officer and my colleague in the struggle, Reverend Ron Saylor. To our Youth and College Division Director, Reverend Jamal Bryant, whom I've known a long time, and his tenacity and courage, his wisdom beyond years is something that will truly, truly be an asset to this organization, and I want to recognize him right now. To my fellow board members and youth work committee members and all of the youth leaders who are seated here in the dais, and all all of you seated out there tonight who know what the struggle is all about. It is indeed my pleasure to present to you a challenge for this evening. You see, as our country celebrates its birth to independence, we take this time to commemorate the death of someone whom each of us knew very closely. A person whom we all called upon from one time or another. I ask you to take this moment to pause in a moment of silence to remember one of our most hardworking and dedicated members, someone else. You see, someone else, his passing away creates a huge void in our association. Whenever there was a job to do or a meeting to attend, one name was always on everyone's lips. Let someone else do it. You see, whenever there was a need, everyone else assumed that someone else would volunteer. Someone else was a wonderful person, often appearing superhuman. In honesty, we all expected too much, and consequently, we've worked someone else to death. Now that someone else is gone, what will happen to our youth councils and our college chapters? What will happen to our adult branches, our regional and national offices? What will happen to our neighborhoods and our communities? Someone else left a marvelous example to follow, but now who's going to do the work? You see, we can no longer do or expect someone else to do what we need to do for ourselves. You see, we can't depend on someone else to build up our programs, fight our battles, voice our concerns, and lift us up. You see, it's up to me, and it's up to Jamal, and it's up to Ron, and Franklin, and Ayana, and Talia, and you, and you, and you, and you. You see, each one of us cannot wait on someone else to do the work. We have to do it ourselves because today is Independence Day. We must declare our independence from the negative societal ills that have grasped so many of our brothers and sisters. We declare our independence from ignorance and pessimism and bad relationships and negative influences. We declare our independence from gang affiliations and drugs and other unsafe behavior. Today is the day we declare our independence from that crab bucket mentality that we try so hard to keep each other down. I was reading through a book and I came across a story about a business owner whose business was doing quite well. And the business owner happened to run across a magic bottle. And he rubbed on the bottle and a genie came out and told him, "You can have one wish, whatever it is that you want. If you want wealth, you can have it beyond your wildest dreams. If you want health, you can have that too. The only catch is, whatever you wish for, your neighbor will get twice as much. But don't let that limit you, because see, you can have whatever you want." And the man stopped and thought for a minute and he said, "Strike me blind in one eye." You see, it's that same kind of negative thinking that has kept us down for so long. By hurting each other, by going ahead and suffering as long as it keeps somebody else from getting ahead. Today is the day that we declare our independence from that type of negative behavior. And by declaring our independence from that, we open ourselves up to intelligence and optimism and good relationships. We open ourselves up to affiliations in the NAACP, fraternities and sororities, programs like Big Brothers and Sisters that do positive work within our communities. All of these things allow for behavior that will positively enhance your life, your spirit, your being. See, my challenge is to each of you to stay away from anything that would do harm to you. Because as they say in the commercial, I love you, man. You see, I want to see each of you here next year and the year after that. So you've got to take very, very good care of yourself because we need you. The NAACP needs you because today is our Independence Day. In the movie Independence Day, Will Smith battled aliens who wanted to destroy Earth. You know, the other day, I had this dream, and I was outside, and I saw a spaceship coming in the sky. And I saw beams that started to come down, and I began to duck and bend a little bit. And I realized that those were not shots that were coming down from that spacecraft. They were Supreme Court rulings. You see, the door to that spacecraft opened up, and instead of seeing aliens from another planet, I saw Supreme Court justices wearing their long black robes. You see, we saw those shots that they fired in Maryland, and we saw it a few weeks ago in my state of Texas as they ruled that race could no longer be used as a criteria for admission at the University of Texas School of Law. You see, people think that race shouldn't be the only criteria used, but in a perfect society, we wouldn't need those kinds of issues. But this society isn't perfect. Here, 30% of African Americans live in poverty compared to 10% of whites. According to a 1995 Commerce Department report, African American children and families were 3 times as likely as whites to live in poverty. A 91 study showed that typical white households had 10 times as much wealth as black households. Even more alarming are statistics that show that a black girl has a 1 in 21,000 chance of getting her PhD in math, science, and engineering. But that same girl has a 1 in 5 chance of becoming a high school dropout. So why take that 21,000 chance away from her? If it were a level ball field, it would be a totally different ball game. But you see, while all of these rulings are being handed down, funding is being cut from school programs and pre- and post-school activities, lunch programs, community centers, and other benefits that help our children get to that level playing field. You see, how can we reasonably expect our children to do well? How can we expect a little boy to do well when the only hope he has of getting a balanced meal to get those essential vitamins and nutrients he needs in order to concentrate has been snatched away? How can we expect a little girl to be able to study hard and do well on a test when every day she has to walk home in fear and hurry and stay home alone to take care of her younger brothers and sisters when she needs someone to look after her? I think America needs to go back to school. You see, we all need to relearn some of the basic things like the ABCs, but I like to refer to them as the ABCs of substance. You see, A is for attitude, which determines your altitude, which determines how high you fly. Brain power is B, which means that you can think, you can dream, you can be. C is for courage, because sometimes you're going to have to stand alone. But I heard a song one time that says, I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. That D is for determination. You've got to keep going even though the struggle is hard. The E is for effort, and everything you do, you got to give it your all. F is for faith, because when you're traveling and you're struggling on this road, you got to have that higher being. You got to have that belief in something to help keep you through. G is for genius and all the intelligence that we as a people have inside of us. H is for heart, that ability to go that extra step. I is for inspiration, or what I like to refer to as vitamin I. We all have to get our daily dosage, and we can get it from people like Maya Angelou and her poem, And Still I Rise, or Booker T. Washington, who wrote Up From Slavery, or Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry, or Succeeding Against the Odds by John Johnson. You got to get your daily dosage of vitamin I. J is for joy. Find joy in all of the things you do. K is for kindness, because the golden rule says, do unto others as you would. All right. L is for love and love for our fellow man. M is for morals and always standing up for the right thing. N is for never, never quit, never give up, and never let them see you sweat. O is for opportunity, because when the door knocks, you got to be prepared to come in. P is for politics. Get involved. One of our former youth board members, Miss Yasmin Hurston, heard the call to get involved and now stands today as a representative on the school board of the city of New York. Q is for question. Never be afraid to ask questions, question authority. R is for rest. Don't be afraid to take a little time out and smell the roses. S is for success. Always strive to go to the top because the bottom is much too crowded. T is for trial, trial and error. One of the first things my mother taught me was, if at first you don't succeed, try again. U is for unity, because I heard an African proverb that said, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. V is for vision and always looking ahead at that goal that lies on the other side of the mountain. W is for will, because where there's a will, there's a X is for X-ray and being able to look inside. In one of my favorite songs by Whitney Houston Shoup, she says, if you're looking for a place you know, a familiar place, somewhere to go, you should look inside your soul and you're halfway there. Y is for you and knowing how important you are. And Z is for Zodiac. Always realize your place under the sun. I think we need to go back and learn our ABCs this evening. As I bring my challenge to a close, there's one more Independence Day celebration that I can't leave out. It happens at night and everybody likes to gather around and watch the fireworks in the sky. You see, that's what I'm doing this evening. As I look at all of you up here and all of you out there, I'm watching the fireworks. Because you know, all a firework is a little piece of dynamite with a wick on the end. But before it's lit, you would never notice it. But once it's lit, its light brilliantly illuminates the sky. And that's what we are. The only difference is our wick is the mind. And once we develop it, we too shall light up the sky. The only problem with that is some people would try and dampen our wicks to keep us from being lit, to keep our light hidden, to keep us from shining. But you know what? When somebody comes and says something negative to me, when somebody tries to dampen my wick by saying something like, Shelly, why do you try to do so much? One person can't make a difference. You know what? I just kind of smile at myself and say, this little light of mine. You see, people try to say, Shelly, why do you want to run for the board of directors? You're too young. Nobody's going to listen to you anyway. I just smiled and said, you know what? I'm going to let it shine. You see, people will tell you that you think you can make a difference, but they'll try to pull you down with petty politics and backbiting. But you got to look within yourself and say, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. When people say to you, why join that old folks organization? They're not going to let you do anything, anybody, anyway. You just tell them this little light of mine. When people you think are your friends try to discourage you, they say, why practice? Why go to Charlotte? You'll never win anything in AXO. Why apply? You'll never be a Gloucester B current winner. Why run for that position you won't win? When you hear those remarks, don't even breathe that negative energy in. You just say, obviously, you don't know who I am, because everywhere I go, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Today is Independence Day, my brothers and sisters, so let your light shine. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you. This is Clara Luper reminding everybody that Reverend and Mrs. Derry K. Jackson lost their beautiful daughter. The funeral services will be Monday at 11 o'clock. Clara Luper reporting.